What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Educated Barfly. My name is Leandro Divenriva, and today we're going to be making a Brooklyn cocktail. So the Brooklyn is a Manhattan variation that was created by a guy named Jacob Grohusko, and it was published in his cocktail book, Jaques Manual, in 1908. And he was the head bartender of Baracca's in Lower Manhattan on Wall Street in New York City at that time. And although he was not from Brooklyn himself, it's believed that he named the cocktail in honor of his boss, who was from Brooklyn. Also, at that same time, there was the Manhattan cocktail, as you well know, and there was also a cocktail called the Bronx, so he just named this kind of Manhattan-style cocktail after another New York borough to kind of, I guess, add it to that list of cocktails. And then we fast forward to the early 2000s, and we have Vincenzo Errico, who creates a cocktail that is directly descended from the Brooklyn called the Red Hook, which we just did a video on. So this cocktail, so that Red Hook cocktail that was named after a Brooklyn neighborhood of Red Hook, then spawned a whole bunch of other Manhattan styles, all named after other Brooklyn neighborhoods, such as the Greenpoint and the Bensonhurst. I think there's one called the Park Slope. There's definitely a Bushwick, although I'm not sure if I've had that one in a long time. I might have to recreate it. But there are those, so it spawned, and also Audrey Saunders' Little Italy, I would say, definitely kind of is in that same kind of grouping of Manhattan styles. So the reason why we have so many ingredients up here is because the Brooklyn was made historically with this ingredient. It's called Amer Picon. It is a French bitter, and it's not available in the United States. So I set up 2 mixing glasses because this cocktail is iconic enough and important enough that a lot of very famous bartenders have recreated it with ingredients that are available in the United States. So I'm going to do 2 side-by-side cocktails. One of them is going to be the original cocktail. Luckily, my good friend John Solana gave me a bottle of this Amer Picon, and he got it from a friend of a friend, and he decided to give it to me so that I could faithfully recreate this cocktail. I love that guy. He is the owner of a great place called Uno Tre Otto, which is a wonderful, they have a great bar program, and it's a wonderful restaurant, tiny restaurant in Claremont, California. So if you're around there, you should definitely check it out. I put a link to his website below, so check it out, definitely for sure. And then the other one that we're doing is the Death & Company specs. So basically the main flavor component in Picon is orange. It's got a lot of like orange flavor, and Amaro Cicciaro is very similar to it. So the Death & Company guys retooled those specs so that they could have it. What's great about this thing is we're gonna make one here, we're gonna make another one here, we're gonna put them in their glasses, and we're gonna taste them, and we're gonna see how well they did in recreating it, which I think is an awesome thing. So you Europeans, you guys can do the original one, and or the Death & Company version. And then for Americans, you guys can do the Death & Company version, and I'm sure it's gonna stack up because those guys are super talented. All right, I think that was enough. Let's get into the cocktail. So the very first thing we're gonna do is half an ounce of Amer Picon. Probably should have opened it, didn't. Now I'm regretting it. So half an ounce of Amer Picon. Quarter of an ounce of maraschino liqueur. Quarter ounce of dry vermouth. Those are your original specs. Now the milk and honey specs, I'm actually gonna rinse a little. Milk and honey specs will be, don't forget the main spirit, Leandro. 2 ounces of rye. We're using 100 proof Overholt. Bonded rye. There, now it's complete. All right, so the next one is going to be quarter of an ounce of Amaro Cicciaro. 1 teaspoon of Luxardo. 3/4 of an ounce of dry vermouth. And 2 ounces of bonded Overholt. I will say that the Death and Company specs call for Rittenhouse, but that is also 100 proof bonded. It's going to be a little bit different. So if you want to faithfully recreate that one exactly, it would be Rittenhouse. I think, though, that they're pretty comparable. Now, this ice is a little wet, and I'm going to be doing, so it's going to be hard for me to crack it. So I just bear with me while I tap and crack this ice. Ah, not in there. In there. You know what? I was going to do this one at a time, but since the ice is getting kind of wet, it took us a little while to... I did a lot of talking, and it took us a little while to shoot this. I don't think I'm going to do them both at the same time. And then you guys are going to go, oh, Leandro forgot something again. Get in there, ice. For that, I will need another... That is a big spoon. But I will need another spoon. So let's stir it. All right, that's about enough. I think I'm gonna do a little polish, guys, just to get all the water spots off it from the cracking. The thing about using cracked ice is that it's kind of messy. Just do a little, I don't know, I'm kind of a stickler for presentation, so get rid of this. All right. So here's our original Brooklyn. Gonna rinse so that we don't mix anything, and we get a faithful flavor. And here's our Death and Company Brooklyn. All right, set this stuff aside. Let's get the old tasteroo. Very orange forward. You got nice bitterness right on the front. You devolve to that kind of like very robust orange forwardiness, but you've got that nice dryness from the vermouth, but also that Luxardo really dries it out. All right, let's taste this one. I probably should have a little water here to cleanse my palate, but I don't, so oh well. Again, I will say, very faithful to the flavor. As you can see, there are two very different cocktails in appearance, but very faithful of flavor. The Chiacharo is orangey, but it has a little, like, it's not as rich in depth as the Amer Picon, and is, I would say, a little bit drier with the upped amount of dry vermouth. Although the Luxardo brought down, it's very similar, but it is a tiny bit different, but also a very, very good drink. That being said, if you want to try the Amer Picon one and you live in the United States, you are not completely out of luck. There are places like the Whiskey Exchange, which is like where I would order from in Europe, that you can order like a liter of Amer Picon. But the thing is that you're going to pay a bit of a premium for it. So after taxes and whatever, it's going to end up being close to $100. I've put a link in the show notes as well for the Whiskey Exchange if you want to check them out. They're in England, and it is where I get stuff that I can't get in the United States. Until next time, see ya. And make these cocktails, and make them both if you can. And then we can talk about it in the comments.